We are live. Good morning. Good morning, coaches. How are you doing? It is Sanae Floyd here, business breakthrough coach and sales mentor. And I want to talk to you about sales. I'm going to do a few lives over the next few days and maybe even weeks, seeing how we go on, to really kind of dive into the topic of sales. So I have been coaching, mentoring, and training in sales for almost 25 years now. So my background is corporate sales, and then I broke away and started my business in coaching sales for entrepreneurs. I'm in my 8th year of business now as a independent sales coach. So yesterday, I was speaking with a client who admitted that whenever she used to think about sales and sales calls, one of the immediate kind of thoughts that followed up anytime she was thinking about having a sales call with a potential client, that sort of thought process was always followed up with the thought, maybe I should just get a full-time job. Maybe I should just go back to work. And that was always, it was like those two thoughts were not independent, oh no, got to do sales calls. Maybe I should just go back and get a job. And that was the level of kind of fear and resistance that she had to sales. And I know she's not alone. Sales can feel really scary if you've not done it before or you're not that familiar with it. And not only is it scary if you're not familiar with it, if you've not done sales before yourself, but it's also really been burned into our psyches that selling is sleazy, that salespeople are unscrupulous, uncaring, out of integrity. And that's really hard to shake off, especially if you've had personal experience, perhaps of somebody trying to sell you, timeshares back in the day. If you remember, when people were hosting these like day events where they were trying to sell you timeshares in holiday homes and all of that kind of thing. And they were really kind of hard sell, very, very unscrupulous, uncomfortable. And you knew they didn't care, because the minute you kind of really put your foot down and said no, they'd just walk off. Or maybe you've seen Matilda. This is one of my favorite characters. Danny DeVito as the car salesman in Matilda. He's hilarious, but unfortunately he plays a very familiar stereotype. So in this way, we're kind of bombarded with negative connotations, negative associations for sales and salespeople, and that is going to have its impact. So the thing is, though, however, when you're in business, you need to be able to master sales. Sales is an essential skill. And so what I want to talk to you very quickly in this live stream is just 3 very quick ways that you can start to shift your mindset around sales and start to feel a bit more comfortable, so that not only can you enjoy and you actually look forward to your sales calls, but that you are effective on them. So the first thing, and I always beat this drum because this for me has been the biggest game changer in so many areas of my life. But this is going to be really important for sales. And that simply is passion. Passion. Having passion about what you do. And I think this is one of the things that, and I always say this to my clients as coaches, you are at such a distinct advantage because you're not selling anything you don't care about. You're not, in a telesales center selling insurance that you don't care about, or in a shop that you're not bothered about. It's just a job that, to tide you over. In your business as coaches, you are passionate about helping people. You have a solution to a problem. So when you making sure that you are passionate and aligned with your ideal client and the problem you solve, what you do, who you do it for, how you do it, all of that is going to be massively impactful for your ability to perform effectively on a sales call and really master that skill. And that I'm saying sales is a skill because it is something you can master. So do not underestimate the influence that you being passionate about what you do and who you help will have on your sales calls. And just to give, a bit of background to the other reason why passion is so essential and so powerful a force within you is that when you are passionate about what you do and aligned and you're operating from your zone of genius, that produces this kind of energy that infuses everything you put out there. So every time you show up, every post you create, every bit of content you put out there, when it's done from that aligned space, it infuses into that piece of work, that piece of content. And so it's felt. People feel it. When they read your stuff, when they see you online, when they, watch your videos, they feel it. And it's a very powerful and, like I said, influential energy. Influential as in it, you create a state change in your audience. Like they want to reach out to you. They feel something different, something inspirational as a result of kind of reading your stuff or consuming your content. And so what that means is that research shows that by the time somebody has actually booked a call with you and reached out to work with you, research has shown they are 70% decided. 70% of the buying decision has already been made before the prospect contacts you. And that's because of your content. So being passionate about what you do and who you help is really important and so powerful. And this is why I always say, as coaches, you are at a distinct advantage when it comes to sales. It's going to be easier for you because you're passionate about what you do. You're passionate about what you're selling. So that's the first thing, to kind of really own that, really own the fact that, great, because I'm passionate about what I do, that's going to make sales much easier. You care, and that comes across. Okay, so the second thing is to have a process. So all too many coaches, I talk to coaches a lot about this, and there's a technical term that I hear, and it is, when I ask the question, what's your current sales process? The technical term is, I wing it. I actually wing my sales calls. I don't have a process. And what this means is they run the risk of kind of losing control of the conversation. Like the conversation with the prospect just, goes all over the place. And why this is not a good thing is because it becomes very difficult then to pull back that conversation to then deliver your pitch. To then say, well, this is what I do, this is, how much it is, and, this is how I can help you. And so it becomes very difficult to pull that back. Not only that, but when you don't have a process, you run the risk of being out of integrity. Because when I see coaches who don't have a process, and I see, as I said, I've been coaching and mentoring in sales for 25 years now. Having a process is essential, because when you don't, you run the risk of introducing your offer too soon in the conversation. And why that is a problem is because you haven't given the time to necessarily fact find or establish the needs of your client. So when you then introduce what you offer, it feels out of integrity because you haven't actually really dived into what it is that the client is going through, and really established your level of understanding and clarity, and their understanding and clarity of what it is that's really going on for them. What is it they really want, and what they've tried so far, and all these kind of really important deep dive questions. When you haven't done that enough because you don't have a process, that's when you run the risk of pitching too soon and coming off as being out of integrity. And also having a process just keeps it kind of reined in. And so how long the call is going to take. You're also kind of managing the expectations of the prospect, and it just comes across as much more professional. Like you know what you're doing. You've got control of this. And at the end of the day, a prospect is booking a call with you. They want to feel safe. They need to feel safe, especially in we're in the industry of helping people, service industry. So people want to feel safe on those calls. So when you have a structure and a process, that's going to give them that kind of container in which to feel safe in your hands. Okay. All right. The third thing, and if you know anything about me, I love alliteration. So we've got passion, process, and the third one is power. So what do I mean by power? So this is basically about, you've got to practice standing in your power as the specialist in your field. You've got to own that. So too many coaches feel really nervous about, being on a sales call, which is understandable if you've never done it before. And this is why I want to kind of share this information with you. But when you understand that you come to this call as a specialist, as the person with the solution, that prospect has booked a call with you because they have a problem and they've been consuming your stuff, or they've been on your website, or they've read something of yours and instantly it's resonated. And now they already perceive you as the specialist. So you've got to own that for yourself. They see it, but you have to own that. And I know there's a lot of, we feel imposter syndrome. We feel like, oh God, I've got to really kind of sell myself and how do I position my value? But the really starts with you standing in your power, owning your expertise. And when somebody has booked a call with you, think about the stat that I've just given you, that 70% of the buying decision is already made before they've booked a call with you. So really what they want to know on that call is, can you help me? Am I the anomaly? I know you can help people, but am I the anomaly? So this prospect is nervous. Can you help me? And also, what does it look like? What does that look like to work with you? So that's what I mean by standing in your power, really owning the fact that you on that call is the specialist. And there's a kind of a common analogy. I like it when it comes to sales calls, especially in the coaching and service industry. See yourself as the GP, the doctor. Somebody's come into the practice because they've got a problem. And you are the doctor in this analogy. So you've got to ask the right questions. You've got to ascertain what's going on for them, what they've tried, what it looks like, how's it impacting the other areas of their life. And so as the doctor, you're the specialist. And when you deliver your pitch, you're giving the prescription. This is what you need to take. So that, if you can see it like that, kind of helps you own your space much, much more powerfully. Okay, guys, so I hope you found this useful. Just a quick download, really to help you kind of start to get into that mindset of sales being something that's very powerful. It's an essential skill for your business. And as I always say, sales is love, because at the end of the day, you're solving a problem for somebody, powerfully helping them. Hey, Stacey, good to see you, hon. So I'm going to wrap it up for now, but thank you so much for watching. I'm going to talk a lot more about sales over the coming days, as I said at the beginning. So look out for that if you are struggling with your sales. All right, my loves, I will speak to you all again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.